What your background? What your background? Alright.
I feel very welcomed in St. Thomas. How are things?
The Seaforth area is one of our main hotspot areas. We have recorded 5 murders thus far. However, we have several police initiatives going on in the area to try and to combat against these issues and ensure that we keep the major crime rates on a percentage level, sir, to ensure that our citizens are safe and we are working around this. We have the OSCD team and other local patrols in the area, ensuring that the conflicts are happening to keep these 2 days that are previously these murders. We have them under control.
So even in St. Thomas you have factions and
yes, sir.
gang warfare.
Yes, sir. That is one of the things that we are now seeing in our space. So we have placed police personnel to be permanent in some of these zones so we can prevent some of these issues. And then we have our proactive measures of our CSFB teams going out and speaking to youth and giving awareness about how to deal with conflicts and other resolution. And we also have a lot of targeted operations going forward for guns and gunmen.
St. Thomas is one of those parishes that really should not be affected by gangs. But the truth is that the gang culture is all over the country, in every area of Jamaica, and we must do everything to stamp out this gang culture. The problem we have is that communities look on gangs as many of them as being defenders of the community, defenders of turf, and the people who organize the gangs portray themselves as Robin Hood, as people who are there to help, people who are in the interest of the community. But the truth is that they are not. They are there to try and control areas so that they can have a safe space to commit crimes. So what we are seeing in Jamaica now is a growing organization of criminal activity to conduct lottery scamming, to conduct drug operations, to control extortion, or generally just to say, you know, I'm the big man in the area, I control the area. And eventually what happens is that even in communities like these where they're not urban in nature, they eventually embed themselves and entrench criminal activity, which ends up in innocent citizens losing their lives. And we must do everything in our power to stamp out this kind of organized and oftentimes armed criminal activity, which is behind much of the violence that we have. So I'm very happy to see that the organization here, the police organization here, is focusing on stamping out gangs before they become entrenched in the area. That's very good. So keep up the good work.
Thank you, sir.
Honorable Andrew Holness, Prime Minister of Jamaica.
As this young man apart here.
I'm sorry.
I mean, that you're,
The recipient. This is the recipient.
you are the lucky lady.
Yes.
Oh, look at that smile. Congratulations. All right, come, let's go. Morning, everyone. Good morning. Oh. Thank you. Good. Sorry, I kept you waiting. But...
Morning,
everyone.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the playing of the national anthem. Excellent. Thank you very much. We are here today. I would also like to take this privilege to acknowledge Deputy Mayor Eric Pennington from the New Jersey fraternity, sir. Good morning. Welcome to this occasion. It's a pleasure to have you here this morning. So here we are at this place, Prime Minister, our neck of the woods, my neck of the woods. I want to welcome you all. For those of you who do not know, my name is Marsha Henry Martin, daughter of the soil, and I will be your host for this morning. I want to welcome you, for those who are coming for the first time to St. Thomas, to the most beautiful parish. I am going to pause to invite at this moment Pastor Ju.
Good morning, everyone. Let us bow our heads, please. Our God and our Father, I come to you this morning recognizing that you are the sovereign ruler of this world. You claim ownership for this earth. You said in your word that the earth is yours and the fullness thereof, and the world and they that dwell therein. We thank you, Almighty God, for this day that you have made. You have renewed it in our lives, and we owe it to give you thanks. Today, God, I join hearts with the local government and community development to tell you thanks for the provision that you have made for our sister. Lord, I remembered in your word when you brought Israel out of Egypt, in spite of the challenges that they were facing, in spite of the oppositions that were in the land, you reminded them to take care of the poor. And so, Almighty God, we are praying at this hour that you will continue to bless all the organizers who came up with this idea.
For over 25 years, the Yalas market was leased to a former councillor. The market was leased not to be operated as a market. They sell car parts, they sell all sorts of things, and the vendors had to sit outside the gate of the market, can't enter the market. And we gave a commitment that when the lease expired, we would not extend the lease to any other individual. That lease has expired. The St. Thomas Municipal Corporation now has possession of the market. And as soon as the estimates are completed, the ministry will provide the funds to renovate the Yalas market so that the vendors finally can go back into the market and ply their trade and be better than they are today. It's a commitment that we made, and we are fulfilling that commitment. So today, Prime Minister, I'm glad that you are here because you are the builder when it comes down to housing. It is your policy and the policy of your government that is on display here this morning. And I want to say to those who are waiting, meekly wait and murmur not. Thank you.
At this time, ladies and gentlemen, we will receive the main address from our dear Prime Minister, Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness.
Good morning, everyone. I find myself in your beautiful parish quite regularly these days. I was here last Friday doing my Heroes Day message, which was quite relevant and symbolic that I filmed the message here, because it showed the transformation of the parish. And one of the stark juxtaposition was the old courthouse in the Morant Bay Square and the new courthouse that is being built in the Morant Bay Urban Center. Obviously, for the people of St. Thomas, and I pay special regard to our guest from Newark, New Jersey, Mr. Pellington, welcome, and others who are joining you. I don't know if you are from the parish.
When I retire, I will.
I'm going to pick up on that point. The minister would be very happy to hear this, and so too would be the mayor and his councillors and the representative of the custos and other officials who are here. Because St. Thomas is really the pivotal parish in Jamaica's historical development, post-slavery. It is the Morant Bay Rebellion which really sparked a new interest from the colonial government in the administration of the affairs of Jamaica. Before then, Jamaica was being administered by a local assembly. And that assembly, really, their only interest was in the planter class, not any real interest about developing the newly freed, formerly enslaved Jamaicans. And after the Morant Bay Rebellion, which was very brutal, not much is said about it in our history. And indeed, it is part of this whole business of St. Thomas being kind of the forgotten parish. And I have spent quite a bit of time every time I address an audience in St. Thomas to try and bring some understanding of the history as to why St. Thomas was considered the forgotten parish. And indeed, it is also a motivating force behind the government trying to push development into the parish. But I never take it for granted that the people in the parish understand what the government is trying to do. Because the reality is that the government may very well have good intentions, good plans, and good projects. But the reality that you as citizens face every day can easily overshadow, undervalue, dismiss, the good intentions of government policy. The reality is that given the history of St. Thomas, of general neglect, your roads generally throughout the parish are in bad condition. A large percentage of the settlements don't have reliable potable water. We know the situation with the hospitals in the parish and your access to health care. We know the situation generally with just regular infrastructure. Your courthouse, your municipal building, the condition of the markets. And we also know that whilst unemployment is generally very low nationally, at 4.2%, the lowest unemployment has ever been in the history of the country. In this parish, particularly amongst some of our youngsters, unemployment would still be higher than the rest of the parish. I say this because it is important that the residents of St. Thomas understand that I understand the challenges that you face. I am not under any illusions. And I also understand that seeing a lovely highway coming through your parish and seeing the lovely edifices being built in the Morant Bay Urban Center, that it does not immediately address the concerns that you have. And as far as many of you are concerned, the government could not build the highway. The government could not build the Morant Bay Urban Center and just take the money and fix my local road. That is a thought operating in the minds of many Jamaicans. Indeed, instead of fixing the road, the government should just give me the cash. And that is quite understandable. If for 40 years you're having to drive on the bad road in your local community, if for 50 years there is no water. But let me remind you, for those of you who lived through the 70s, for the older among us, and then for those who never experienced it, let me bring you up to date. Jamaica went through a period of time when the guiding principle of government was to just give everything away. Where did it get us? Regardless of the sufferation that you are facing, and I use that term sufferation, I'm not sure it's a word in the English dictionary, but my friend from Newark will immediately understand the immiseration that it connotes. Sufferation. The only way to address sufferation in a long-term, sustainable, and enduring way is to make investments. Investments that are going to generate revenues that we can then spend in a substantial way, in a long-term way, in a sustainable way, in addressing the pain points that are affecting you now. Your road, your water, and access to amenities. just doing the short term, what we call palliative politics, meaning just give you something to quiet you now. Just giving you something in your hand, and you take it and crush it up and push it in your pocket, and you go supermarket and you get one set of grocery, and then when that done, you look for the politician again. You just wait for him. That doesn't help you. What we have sought to do to have true development that is sustainable in your parish is to make the kinds of investments that are going to want to make our friend here who is visiting from Newark say as he did, when I retire, I very well may come here and live. That's a new resident bringing new income, paying new taxes that will go to support fixing your road. So the strategy for development of this government, which needs to be explained to the people, is that it is not that we don't understand the immediate need that you have. But governments have been trying to solve your immediate needs for the last 50 years, and every time the need still remain and is immediate. Nothing changed. Now we are seeing a government that can really change your situation for the long term. Do not look on the road that we are building in isolation. So there are a set of people who are very happy about the road. Yeah, those people who land at Norman Man International Airport, they can jump in the car or take a Juta bus, and in less than half the time it would have taken, they can end up in a lovely, quiet resort in Port Antonio. People who would have had to come this side of the island from Kingston, they are very happy. People who live here and work in Kingston, they are very happy. But the man who live up in the hills, who have his coffee, and he rarely ever come down, for him this road doesn't mean anything. But that is the error. That is the ignorance. We didn't only build a road, we built the urban center. And later on today, we're going to do another walk through the town of Morant Bay and other areas, because we're going to convert that area into a historic town that tourists can come, see the sites, interact with artifacts, and see visualizations of the history. Yes, we are of the view that tourists only come to Jamaica for sun, sea, and sand. That's one type of tourist. There are others who want to come and experience what it is like to live in a Jamaican community with Jamaican people, to understand Jamaican history. And they would love to be able to just walk around in a Jamaican town, go into a Jamaican market, go into a Jamaican restaurant, go to a Jamaican nightclub. Yes, because they have heard so much about Jamaica and its mystique. But where can we host them? What do we have to show? So building the road is not just about the ease of traffic flow. We are building an entire ecosystem around the road that will create new industries. And from those industries, we will take the revenues that we gain and we will give back to Jamaicans in a sustainable way. Why did I start here? Why did I start here? Let me tell you why I started here. I was reading an article, I believe it was an editorial in one of our papers, looking at our CARICOM neighbor, our CARICOM sister country, Guyana. That Guyana is giving back in the form of a cash transfer. I believe they have now changed it to 100,000 to any Guyanese over 18 years old. 100,000 Jamaican. That's about the equivalent of about maybe 75,000 Jamaican dollars. And I read all the comments. I deliberately read the comments. And I tell you something. You know, you can't take everything that is written seriously. But the general trend shows that there is a very high level of ignorance in the society. People genuinely don't know and understand. And the other problem, of course, is that some don't care to know. Even when confronted with the facts, they remain convinced of foolishness still. Now, why is Guyana able to give 76,000 Jamaican dollars to every Guyanese citizen over 18, if that is the case? It is from their oil revenues. Has Jamaica discovered oil? We have not discovered oil. They are exploring. God may smile on us. But your government isn't sitting down waiting on oil to be able to give Marsha Davis this wonderful structure. Replace what was destroyed, fully furnished. We're not waiting on oil to do that. We're not waiting on oil to build the Montego Bay bypass. We're not waiting on oil to build the Morant Bay Urban Center. All of these massive infrastructure projects, we're not waiting on oil to do that. What are we doing? And how are we getting the resources to do this? I see some of the comments pouring scorn on the reverse tax credit, the give back of 20,000 Jamaican dollars of persons who claim it, who earn less than 3 billion Jamaican dollars. Where did that money come from? Was it from the oil revenues? What did Jamaica discover to be able to do that? The first in our history. This is the first time there has ever been a give back. And it's not the only time that we have given back. During COVID, unemployed persons who were put on furlough, they got cash support under the CARE program. We gave a general grant to every person who applied for it. When oil prices went up and electricity bills went up very high, we gave a subsidy. We were giving back, not just now, not just one time. This administration has been giving back. When we remove school fees from heart, that's a give back. Think about all the give backs that we have done. And how have we been able to do this? Where did we discover oil? The only thing that has changed, that has allowed the government to be able to do things like this. And by the way, Minister Mackenzie, you have done 168 indigent housing. Under the new social housing program, we are over 310 houses now. That we are giving. They don't pay a cent, the families, for them. just giving to families who are poor, giving to families who are victims of fire and other natural disasters, upgrading some settlements. Where is the oil that we have discovered that has enabled us to do this? You know what that oil is? You know what we have discovered in this country? We have finally discovered good government, good economic management. That is what has created the dividends that has allowed us to give back. And I know that it hurts some people when I say it, because they cannot confront this fact fairly and honestly, because no other administration has been able to do it. None. So you may not like it. You may want to choose to disregard it and still make nonsense comments. But you cannot change the fact that this is the only government that has been able to do this. That is the reality. That is the reality. So, we are here today to give back in a different form this time a social house under this time the indigent housing program in the Ministry of Local Government. There are two programs that are structured to provide housing for persons who are assessed as being poor and in need of housing support. Under the Indigent Housing Program, the local government ministry has a mandate to deal with persons who are certified as being poor. They are described as indigent. And there is a budget provided for that. And under that budget, there is a special program for indigent housing. That program deals with families who would have lost their homes, as in the case of these families here, Marsha Davis being the beneficiary today. And I recall distinctly that when we came into the parish to open the new fire station that this administration built as a part of our commitment to the parish to improve the amenities that you have, the families were all gathered there, very distressed and asking for assistance. And I committed the Minister of Local Government to ensure that the houses were built. And I'm happy today to be here to see the fulfillment with Minister Desmond McKenzie of that commitment made. We're very, very happy to be here today. The new social housing program has a slightly different mandate. We do similar things. We do focus on households that are poor, that have no income, but we focus more on the housing condition that exists. So, for example, we have helped households that are living in cars. At least 3 persons we have given houses to that the only place they were living is in a motor vehicle. It paid my heart to see that, but it's true. So we focus mainly on the condition of housing. The indigent housing program focuses more on indigency. So you're looking at persons who are in poverty, persons who are old, persons who have nobody to take care of them, that kind of thing. Now, together, we have over 500 indigent housing solutions that we are giving to Jamaicans. They don't pay a cent for it. Under the new social housing program, we ask that the beneficiaries, they have to find the land. We don't buy the land. We don't find the land. It might be a little bit different under, they have to find the land as well. So once they find the land, we will build the house. So if they have a family member who could give them permission to use a piece of land, or if they have the land, then we build on it. And that's the way in which the intervention is done. Now, for this house, another difference between the new social housing and the indigent housing is that the indigent housing program goes a little bit further and actually furnishes the house for the beneficiary. Under the new social housing program, we only build the house, and the beneficiary has to find the other amenities for themselves. Now, there are some persons who would say, you know, why should Marsha get the house? You hear somebody in the audience say, true. Yeah? Why not me? Why not me? And it's always a question. No matter what the government does, right? They will say, yes, I see you trying to give somebody else, but what to me? You know, the days of thinking nationally, those people don't think like that anymore. People are thinking individually. I mean, I might be happy for Marsha, but I'm not happy for me. I want one too. So here are a couple of things that I would say to those persons who hold those thoughts in mind. Number one, it is not always advisable to give benefits without applying some conditions to it. All right? So one of the conditions, or several conditions applied, would be that Marsha is a victim of an unfortunate circumstance, such as a fire. So maybe you were not the victim of a fire that destroyed your home for your family. So we try not to just give benefits without justifiable reasons to give it. All right? That's number one you should bear in mind. Number two is that every benefit that we give, the beneficiary must be properly identified, and it must be clear to everyone why they are the beneficiary. And in this case, Marsha, your house was destroyed by fire. We know you don't have the means of building your house again. You have other family members who were also dislocated. And I'm sure the entire Jamaica would agree that the government should assist. Thirdly, when we are giving assistance, because we know that there are persons looking on to say, what about me? It cannot be just a one-off assistance. It must be systematic, and there must be an institution in place to ensure that if other persons meet the criteria that is set, the condition that is set, that they too will benefit. And that is why we didn't just come and give away one house. You know what has happened to me now? Having gone and built over 300 indigent housing, and each one of them I make a point of handing it over. People are saying, all right, Prime Minister, me see it now, me understand, everybody get in house. But I won't stop handing out each and every one of them. Because the point is not that I'm handing out a house or handing over a house. The point is that there is a system in place that was not in place before that can systematically, routinely address this issue of persons who are in need of social housing with a transparent process as to how you get on the list to get the house. Yes, that didn't exist before. So we now have the new social housing program along with the indigent housing program process of applying, process of checking, process of building, and the giving is also public. Everybody sees it. So your turn will come. And as the government continues to make the investments that deliver the revenues, that attract people to come in, that create more revenues, we take some of that and we put it into social housing. The social housing program budget started out at $300 million. Now it is at $500 million, $500 million, and we're going to try and increase it as the economy improves. And as the economy improves, you notice almost every week I'm giving out 5, 6, I've given up to 8 houses one time. We soon reach the point where we can start to hand over 10 and 12 and 20 per week. We estimate that there are about 6,000 Jamaican households that live in substandard housing conditions, the worst of the worst. People who are living in cars, people who are living in little shacks and hovels, and about 6,000 of them. And if as a government we can replace those little shacks and hovels and living in cars and, you know, some people living under cave and all kinds of terrible situations, if we can replace that with proper housing, then we would have lifted the entire society. And that is the system that we have put in place. So essentially what I'm saying is that, yes, I understand the problems that you face, the issues that you have, but it is not going to happen like this overnight. Because those issues that you have did not happen overnight. They've been there for decades. It's not now the road bad. It's not now you don't have no water. What is different now is that you have a government that understands how to fundamentally transform these things. So, we put in place systems now that out of the 6,000, we know we can say we solve over 300 already. In the next budget, if I can increase it and do 600, the next budget, increase it and I do 1,200. You see, we start to chip away at the problem. But we have to keep faith, exercise understanding and patience, and keep our plane on that runway, because we are right now poised to take off. So, as I close my presentation to you, the people of St. Thomas, you are special. And the government acknowledges the sacrifice of your forefathers. St. Thomas is a place of great potential. And your government recognizes this, and we are doing everything possible to ensure that the true potential of this parish can be fulfilled. We need your support. We need you to support the government to continue the work that it is doing to build your economy and build your communities and build your household. In less than 5 years, this parish is going to see significant transformations. You're going to get, obviously, you have seen the new roads completed. You're going to get a new urban center. You already have gotten a new fire station. You'll get a new police station as well. You're going to get courthouse and clinics. We're going to improve the hospital here. With, of course, with new municipal buildings, all of those things, right? And as one lady had said to me, Prime Minister, we want a stoplight on Kentucky. I mean, obviously, that's just one way in which people manifest transformation. But all of those things are going to come. But importantly, what you're going to also see are tourism interests coming into your parish. All right? Already, we have about 3 or 4 tourism projects that are from concept to varying stages of development. You're also going to see more residential housing development. In other words, people are looking at Kingston and they're looking at the value of the land and how difficult it is to build and the size of the plots that are available. And they're saying, well, it's only 15 minutes drive on that new highway, the Paul Bogle Highway. Yes, because we're going to name the road after the national hero from your parish. It's only 15 minutes drive to Kingston, so you're going to find residential developments happening here, which is going to create an entirely new economy for the parish. So the man who lives up in the hill with his son, who the only option he has is his coffee farm, which might not be doing well or may be doing well, will now have other employment options. Yes. And then all of a sudden, you will start to see the income levels of the parish change. And then that farmer who lives up in the hills, in Hagley Gap and all the other areas, will start to feel connected to the developments that are happening. And he will start to own it as his son is getting employed in one of the new industries, the hotels or the new businesses that come into your parish. And then you will start to see even greater transformation happen in your parish. So, yes, as I close, I understand the sentiment. I understand how people think. And I want you to know that you are close to my heart, very close. And I'm going to do everything that I can do to ensure that this parish achieves its full potential, but that you benefit from the development personally as well. It may not be in the form of a cash handout. It may not be in the form of one of these social houses. It is likely to be in the form of new jobs for your children, income for your household, better access to services and facilities, more reliable water supply, better road conditions. And that is not as a result of the discovery of oil. That is as a result of the good government that you elected in 2016 and 2020, and you will do so again whenever that time comes. God bless you and thank you.
At this time, to give us the vote of thanks is someone who bears my name, Marsha. I'm going to welcome you to the podium, Marsha Davis.
Good evening, everyone. Honorable Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness, Minister Desmond Mackenzie, Minister Local Government and Community Development. Councillor Cheryl Stevens, other specialty, invited guests, good morning. And thank you, good afternoon, and thank you for being here. I stand here today to express I stand here today to express gratitude to a wonderful, I like to express gratitude to a wonderful and caring Minister Desmond Mackenzie for being considerate and to provide us for this wonderful house. It was a disaster for us, and I would like to thank the community also to assist us on that day. Very grateful. I'm so very grateful for this house. And I would like to thank Prime Minister for this wonderful start. And continue to do the great that you're doing. I'm so very blessed to be here standing in front of you today. Esteeming person for me to thank you and everyone that is here. It's a very good start for us, and I'm very grateful. And I would like to thank you and everyone that is here to participate and very appreciate, especially to Sheena. Even though Miss Vivian is not here, I know she is smiling where she is. She was the first to appear on the day when the house burned down. She and Mr. James Robertson. And I'm so very grateful for him, even though he's not here. I just want to say thank you, Mr. James Robertson, for recognizing us and see the need that is needed. And we just can't stop saying thanks. Yes, very, yeah. It's well needed, and I thank you very much. Many, 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 many thanks. And I bless the Lord for you to be here today to cut the ribbon, and I'm so very grateful. Thank you.
You can't go so close. Just stay silent.
Johnny, go on, Prime Minister.
Yeah, black traffic. Mess with the phone, step back for me please. Let me stay, step back. Pull back, pull back. Yeah, man.
Everybody's ready? Alright, so everybody is taking
Julie.
count 1 million. Everybody's ready? Yeah. Count 1 million.
Everybody has to just pull back for me now.
1 million.
Yeah.
And you must invite me, you know.
Come in a video, hello.
Oh Lord!
Yes, sir.
Why? One thing I can tell you, Desmond, I mean, the ministry under the indigent housing program, and you go a step further. This is lovely. Nice, nice, nice. Very nice, very nice. Very nice. Very nice. You get a little and bedroom set. Nice. Excellent. Excellent.
Bathroom, we provide water and everything.
Very nice. So I'll tell you something though, right? These houses can rival some of what is built on the open market. I mean, when you look at these walls here, solid. You know, this is about 8 to 9 inches thick. You know. Yes, retired. You got a nice little veranda porch. Patio kind of thing. Nice. And you have a good backyard. Very good. Very good. Not until you get another room. Leave up here. I know, I see it. Your daughter?
Should I? Well, I'm making you come. What should I? Should I come? Come, should I come here? Here up beside it.